everybody, and welcome to Ocean Spit, little show about big things. It's the holiday season, folks. 5 more days, and Christmas is here. It is Friday, December 20th, and I hope you guys got all your Christmas shopping done and getting all your running around. And we have a great show for you guys today. Remember, Ocean Spit is Monday through Friday, 12 o'clock noon. And every show is dedicated to the first responders. Mostly it's dedicated to people like you who take the time and watch the show. Check the website, TonyOceanMusic.com, and give us a call at 847-769-8609 to book a show. My co-host today is the legendary Chicago guy, Mr. Chicago Hitman, Mr. Chicago Piano Man. My good friend, St. Nicholas Sahajas, will be my co-host. So it's showtime. Let's Ho, 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 ho. Oh, you got a hat on. There was no hat on before, or am I just imagining things?
Oh, it's been here the whole time.
There you go. St. Nicholas, what's up, my brother? Welcome to Ocean Spit. How you feeling, pal?
Awesome. Feeling good. Christmas is coming. I'm looking forward to everything.
Well, let me ask you something now. Before we go into some good questions, we need to thank, of course, start off with the number one sponsor, Ace Hardware. Ace is the place. Buy local, shop local. Norridge Plains, Evergreen Park, Warrenville, and Mesa, Arizona. U-Haul rentals at all their locations. They have your moving needs, personal, business, small loads. They have you covered. Take advantage of the auto key program in all their stores. They program car cut keys up to 50% less than the dealership. Visit a helpful hub to speak to a certified team member. Guys, don't forget, right now you get 30% off all indoor and outdoor decor. Ace is the place. Buy local, shop local, helping neighbors before they were neighborhoods. And also, happy birthday to Jackie, the owners of Ace Hardware. Happy birthday, Jackie. Nick Hodges is with us, folks. I don't know if it's just me. Do you feel Christmas, the spirit's just I'm not feeling it this year for some reason. I know it's there, and I know it's, but it's just, first of all, it's flying by so fast.
Yeah.
It just, I don't know. Is it because we're getting older?
No, I mean, for God's sakes, you have grandchildren, so that should bring it back.
I have one, yeah. And
right.
Yeah, but I mean, it's just like the spirit. I don't know if it's just, I don't know.
It's been unseasonably warm up until the last couple of days. That's got something to do with it. Me, I saw the snow this morning. That made me feel more like Christmas. You know what I mean?
I agree with you. I'm glad the snow was there, but I wish we'd get it on Christmas Eve. By the time Christmas Eve comes, this will all be gone.
Yeah.
So you know what I mean? Even though they are predicting, folks, last year, I guess the whole winter season, I guess we had like 25 inches total. And I guess they're predicting 45. So they're doubling the snow already. Supposedly, the almanac. So I don't know if that's going to happen, but we'll have to see. You're watching Ocean Spit, little show about big things. Again, Nick Sahajas is in the house. Let's find out if some nice people are watching right now. Kathy Eppolito from Santa Barbara, California. Richard, how you doing? Sounds like you need a drink. You need to drink more. That's it, Richard. I agree with you. Nicholas, big old Ryan Lewis, how you guys doing? Thank Dennis, Lake Geneva. Hey, again, real fast, and I mentioned this to Nick before we went on the show. I know you guys are probably, a lot of you are out shopping and doing all your hustle and bustle today, but we do appreciate you guys tuning in. I did mention it yesterday. Of course, my co-host was the lovely Laura Ocean, and we just want to say real fast, Laura, because you guys all know that she's going in for open heart surgery in February. There's a lot of tests that need to be done before this, and she went in this morning at 6:30 for an angiogram where they go by her wrist and they put a camera up inside to look at her heart, take pictures of her heart to make sure there's no blockage and there's no nothing. And as of about an hour ago, all systems clear. which is fantastic. And we thank God for that. And everybody on Facebook, that's all the prayers you guys sent. Thank you so much for that. She's still in the hospital, but she'll be coming home soon. But, the camera goes in and they got to make sure there's no blockage. So God bless for that. So thank you all for that. Anyway, also besides that, I said I got a package in the mail. I was telling Nick, and I mentioned it yesterday, and I still don't know, and still nobody told me. So if anybody was watching the show, it was from it was a package addressed to Mo Carrara, like I said, and it was in Village Music World, and from Garfield, New Jersey. Obviously, it's a place where they sell CDs and stuff, and I got this British Beat box set, 3 discs. And thank you. I love this stuff. I just didn't know where it came from. No card, no nothing. So anyway, but thank you so much for that. I appreciate it. Thank you, Ken. Thank you, guys. Tony Toto, thank you. Also, guys, thank you, everybody that showed up last night to Venutis and Addison. Thank you, Danny Ramundi, Tony Toto, Jerry Jams, the main event band. You guys were on fire. Thank you so much, Frank Venuti and the staff. And tonight we'll be at Chicago Prime Steakhouse in Schaumburg, 8 o'clock with Daryl Armenstadt. Will be a Taverna on Division in Melrose. Tonight, if you're in Melrose, go see my buddy Nick Sahajas. He will be there. So that's cool. Very nice. All right, Nick, let's get to some stuff.
Right.
A lot of good stuff. We'll talk, of course, about a lot of stuff that you got going on as well. A couple things here. Wow. Where do you start with all this crazy stuff that's going on here? There is a sound supposedly that a person makes after he makes the sound. Normally you have 24 hours to live. It's called a death rattle. A death rattle happens and it's moaning and snoring, which eat and gargling like with every breath you take. If this somehow happens to you, you have basically 24 hours to live. Call it death rattle. Interesting stuff.
If that's true, I should have been dead years ago.
Yeah, me too. I just did that about an hour ago. So there you go. But yeah, so who knows? But sometimes you have to read up on stuff. And I read a whole thing on it. It's like people get a certain section. So, I guess you have to look more into it yourself. But where do you go? You'll be singing a lot of Christmas songs. Yeah. You know what? Have you been doing that, Nick, at your shows?
Absolutely.
I've been doing about 4 or 5 a night. Yeah, we did a bunch of them there. It's kind of cool. If this happens to you, go to the living room immediately. Very good, Richard. Very good. And again, Nick, thank you and Phyllis for having us over at your house for the little extra Christmas sing along at your home, which was very nice. And Stephanie, of course, Stephanie Lemon. I always pronounce her last name wrong. Is it Bregner?
It's like vinegar with a BR.
Briniger. Okay, so
Yep.
Stephanie Lemon Briniger, and of course Regina Karma, Nick Sahajas, yours truly, Matt Cassane. Of course, Matt was on fire that night. Woo!
Don't forget John.
Yes, he was. Pardon me? Oh, and John Erst. John Erst
there,
did a great job too, of course. So it was great seeing everybody there, and that was a lot of fun. And we had a bunch of views, which is nice. And I hope we made something for St. Jude's, because that was the purpose of it. Besides us getting together and singing some songs, which is very nice, because you don't get to see it too often. And just when we're all playing around too, which makes it kind of cool. Also, congratulations to the Scaff family. Of Tinley Park. They won the great Chicago light fight. I guess they have the best decorated house with lights in Tinley Park, which is kind of cool. Do you and Phyllis still do that every year, Nick?
No, I basically put a wreath outside and 2 little Christmas trees next to the door. That's it. I'm done.
And that's it. Do you put a Christmas tree in the house?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I'm talking about you guys also. Do you guys get in the car? Do you guys go to like the Christmas mart? Do you guys go driving around looking at Christmas lights anymore?
Well, we did do our big day out about a week or so ago. We went downtown.
Yeah.
We went to Macy's. We went to Millennium Park to look at the people skating and the tree that was there. And basically ran around, had some lunch at Petterino's, just like the old days.
Yeah,
It was a
there
fun
you
time.
go.
We do that once, but no, we don't get in a car and go driving around looking at the lights.
At the
Did that
different
during
lights. We
COVID.
haven't got to. Yeah, we haven't got to do any of that stuff in a long time because but there's a lot of nice houses around our neighborhood where you can actually see they do a
Oh yeah.
really nice job. A lot of people put in what they do in time with that. Nick Sahajas is with us, folks. Nick, of course, with the Chicago Hitmen and the Chicago Piano Man, tribute to Billy Joel and Elton John. I think I've asked you this question over and over again. Since you do both Elton and Billy Joel, two completely different singers, one from New Jersey, one from England. They're both rock. They do pop. They do love ballads. Do you have a favorite if you can only do one?
Well, I should probably say Billy Joel because I look like him. But
Yeah.
I grew up listening to Elton John, and I mean, I'm not talking about the later Elton John where it was kind of cheesy. I'm talking about the early stuff.
Yeah.
With Man Across the Water and Honky Cat and all that kind of stuff.
And
I
then
grew up listening.
Funeral for a Friend, and all those
That's really
songs.
good stuff. But Billy Joel writes phenomenal songs. I mean, he really does.
Yeah.
His stuff is not easy. It's not easy to play sometimes.
No,
And
it's not.
He writes way too many words. Never repeats anything, so it's a lot to remember.
Yeah, that's got to be a little tough there too. And and you've done a lot of stuff. You've done you do mostly all the hits. I'm sure and like the Elton John thing. And I think I've asked you who you think a better piano player is, and I don't remember the answer. But who do you think a better piano player is?
I think they're pretty damn equal, to be honest with you. I really do. I've seen Elton perform live, and I've seen Billy Joel perform live, and I've seen them with close-ups of their hands, and they both got the same little stubby hands like I do. But they're phenomenal piano players.
And they're great piano players.
Yeah, I think Billy's stuff might be a little more difficult to play.
Okay.
But I think they're both phenomenal piano players.
And Billy Joel, one thing difference between Billy and Elton, if I'm correct, Billy wrote most of the lyrics and the music himself. Elton had someone either writes the music or the lyrics. I've forgotten. Bernie Taupin.
Bernie Taupin writes the lyrics.
Okay,
and
then Elton
would give
writes
Elton
the music.
Yep, he would give the lyrics to Elton, and Elton would just come up with the melodies and the songs for it. Billy writes it all himself.
He writes it all himself. And he put out a new record. Do you think he'll put out more material, or you think he's done, Billy Joel?
I think he's done. I mean, he basically has made fun of the guys that are still writing, like Elton or even Paul McCartney. It's like they have nothing to prove. Why they're still putting out albums? So I don't think he has any desire to do that.
I don't. Yeah. It doesn't seem like it too. And you know what? If you left both of their personal, I mean, I know Billy Joel was, I think one time, if I remember, his accountant, he almost went broke because the accountant robbed him. From one story I remember hearing, and of course the bad divorce with Christy Brinkley, and he had some alcohol issues. I think I'm correct there with Billy. But then you look at Elton John, everything he went through, and all his drug stuff, and all. Oh. I can't imagine, Nick. I can't imagine. I mean, think about this: the recognition that we get on our level, which is very cool from people, and people come out and support us. Do you imagine getting to that level?
Oh no!
I
doing stadiums, doing like baseball stadiums, football stadiums.
I'm just in general when you're walking down the street.
Well, yeah, that's got to be a pain in the ass. But to sit in a stadium with like maybe 30,000 people and hear them all singing the lyrics you wrote, there can't be a better feeling than that. I've seen it happen with the Foo Fighters. I've seen it happen with so many artists, and it's just like, yeah, that's cool. That's really cool.
Yeah. You have to admit that. I agree with you. I want to say hello to Tina. How you doing, Tina St. Angelo? Saw Elton and Billy at Wrigley Field. I bet you that was a good concert when they toured. Louis Pipes, what's up, my brother? Great singer, Louis Pipes in the house. And while we got Louis here, let's talk about Airtight windows. If you're looking for windows and you want it done right, do it right with Airtight. Honesty and quality, dependability, do it right with Airtight. Serving Chicagoland area for 35 years, do it right with Airtight windows. My good buddy Louis Pipes, 708-788-5000, and tell him Tony O sent you. My good friend Louis. Herbie Gaines, what's up, brother? Yeah, go ahead.
Louis did all the windows in my upstairs.
There you go.
My house is nice and warm in the winter and cool in the summer. Did a
And
great
that's
job.
why you get new windows.
Fantastic.
That's why you get new windows and siding. You call Airtight, and Louis' company will take care of that for you. Absolutely.
Really
Alan,
good job.
Merry Christmas. They're from Miami, Alan and Lena. How you guys doing? I hope you guys are doing well. Nick Sahaj is with us. We were talking about Chicago Piano Man and tribute to Billy Joel and Elton John. And then you've got the Chicago Hitmen, which basically you do songs from what, 70s, 80s, 60s? What kind of stuff?
Pretty much. It's for the most part, it's 70s and 80s rock. It doesn't matter. We could do anything from Huey Lewis and the News to, Ides of March to, with Steffi in the band, we do a lot of female vocals. So we do some Heart, we do some, Pat Benatar, all kinds of different stuff. But it's all the older rock. Yeah.
Yeah, which is good music. And I love that music because it seems like it's still people. It's amazing with all the artists that are out there, especially locally. It's amazing how many bands out there are doing Journey.
Yeah.
All right. I mean, it's Journey, Styx, REO, Boston, boom, boom. It's always a win-win. You put it on there, people are going to come, people are going to enjoy themselves, people are going to go out. It's just amazing. Nick Sahaj is also, folks, another thing you guys might not know if you didn't read his post. He was now a member of the Grammy award thing where he can actually vote for the Grammys. How was that? How did that come about, Nick?
You have to go through a whole process. You have to fill out a bunch of paperwork. You have to get people to sponsor you. They check out all your sites and, your history, what you've done and things like that. And then either accept you or you don't. So last year I was accepted as a voting member of the Recording Academy, and this is the first Grammys that I get to vote for. So
and when is the Grammys? When is the Grammys?
The Grammys are in February.
Okay. Is there anything out there? Do you listen to anything new? Is there anything out there that you even want to vote on?
Well, that's the thing. When you become a voting member, you start getting involved in all these groups. People reach out to you, and there's a thing called FYC, which is for your consideration. So they'll send you a bunch of their material that might be up for a Grammy, or in the pre-voting, they want to be up for a Grammy, and they'll ask you to listen to it. So it's kind of cool to listen to stuff for people that are obscure, all kinds of different music. It's kind of neat to be a part of that whole family.
Well, that can become a big rush to you too, especially because you're a songwriter yourself, and I think that makes a big difference when you actually write music and you are a musician as well. I think that's very, very important. So congratulations to you on that, my friend Nicholas. Hey, The Christmas Carol. We're talking about Christmas. One of my favorite movies of all time, even though it's a holiday movie. I've got every version on DVD, even the cartoon versions, the animated versions. Just turned 181 years old, The Christmas Carol.
Wow.
It's one of my favorites, and I still love it. And, and it's about, everybody gives Scrooge just a bad rap during the whole film or the book or whatever it is. But, you have to look at his upbringing. If you follow his upbringing, how his parents abandoned him and he didn't have much, he was in a foster home, and then you get his upbringing. So then you realize, then of course, how easy it was for him after seeing the spirits and everything. But 181, and people are still watching it every day.
Oh,
I didn't care for Jim Carrey. I didn't care for Jim Carrey's version.
What about Bill Murray?
It's a different outlook on it. I like the old, the old London type of, there was a couple great versions.
Mr. Magoo's. What about Mr. Magoo's?
I liked Mr. Magoo. I liked Mr. Magoo's.
That was awesome.
I thought that was fantastic. Patrick Stewart did a good job. There's a lot of Albert Finney did a great job.
That's old one.
I mean, we're going back. There's so many great ones that were done. But anyway, we got Nick Sahaj is here, the piano man in the house. Also, congratulations to one of our singers in the Chicagoland area, Lulu Sylvester, Faceboard Award for 200 shows on Two for Tuesday. So
how about that?
We got 200 of those shows, and she picks an artist on Tuesdays and that's pretty cool, man.
That's like 4 years.
Yeah, it's almost like when I started. It's like when I started this thing since 2020. I mean, it's
everything started during COVID.
during the flu. Yes, I remember. Also, Nicholas, let's get to another sponsor. Very important. We got to talk about my good friend Mary Grievous, real estate at its finest. The perfect real estate professional. Whether you're putting your home on the market or looking for your dream home, give her a call today. She'll be able to aspire sellers for sale by owners and expired listings. Berkshire Hathaway. Stark Real Estate, M. Grievous at starkre.com and 630-688-1725 and get that house sold or buy yourself a house. And then, of course, when you talk about Mary with that, then you also have to talk about Mary with the NTD Vacations for Chicago Music Cruise that is happening March 23rd to March 30th. 2025. Mary, if you're listening, Frank Venuti from Venuti is going to be calling you. He's booking. He's coming with his family, buddy. So I'm excited. Anyway, it's going to be 8 days. Royal Caribbean, Oasis of the Seas, Fort Lauderdale, Aruba, Carousel, and Coco Key, Bahamas. The Jersey Girls, Mojo's Jukebox, Tony Ocean, the main event band, Scott Childers from WGN, my friend Wendy Thompson with the Britney Spears Experience, Frankie Boom Boom, Hollywood Rodriguez, Hillbilly Rock Stars, and of course, Seventh Heaven. It's going to happen. Go to ChicagoMusicCruise.com, put in Tony Ocean, or give Mary a call at 630-688-1725 and tell them I want to go on the ocean with Ocean, and you can join us on that wonderful 8-day cruise. Also, Nick, you're going to do on your own thing. You're going on the Flower Power Cruise.
Yes.
How cool is that? Who are you looking forward to on that Flower Power?
The Bronx Wanderers.
Okay, now you've seen that many times. And I've known you've seen, is Peter Noon on that one too?
Peter Noon is on that one. You know who else is on that? Peter Asher.
Oh, from Peter and Gordon. Yeah.
Peter and Gordon and Pete Best. So all the Petes are on this one. That's going to be cool.
Yeah, for the
That's
Beatles.
very cool.
That's right.
Yes,
So is there
right.
anybody who you've not seen? You'll be seeing them for the first time on this ship?
Probably, these are all different renditions. I don't really care who's in the band from the originals because I know it's going to sound great. But
Right.
the Temptations, the Zombies, there's going to be a lot of bands like that. The Cowsills, who obviously it's still Susan and her brothers. I've met them before when they played the Arcada, and I was backstage with them, and they're wonderful people.
Yeah, and they were, I don't know if people know, but they were the original group that they want for the Partridge Family. They kind of built it off the Partridge Family. Another thing I also found out, did you know that their Lovin' Spoonful was supposed to be the Monkees, but they couldn't act. They were looking for actors. So they wanted the Lovin' Spoonful to put them on TV as the Monkees. But the problem was they were great musicians, but they couldn't act. And they needed someone who was better actors than musicians. And obviously we know the story about the Monkees, but interesting stuff about the Power.
I believe Stephen Stills also auditioned before Peter Tork, and they didn't.
That's true. The look. There was also a rumor that Charles Manson auditioned for the Monkees, but then when they did an interview with Mickey Dolenz, he goes, "The press would eat up anything we said, so just for fun, he just threw that out there." And it stuck. His rumor stuck forever about Charles Manson. He did not audition for the Monkees, but there you go. All right, so we got some other stuff here. You're watching Ocean's Pit, little show about big things. So much to talk about, so much stuff going on. Let's get to some headlines. Conan O'Brien. I always liked him. I don't know if you liked him. I always liked his humor and stuff. I thought he was very good. But anyway, Conan O'Brien's parents, who were married for 66 years, died 3 days apart from each other. Comedian and former late night host Conan O'Brien is grieving the loss of his parents, who passed away 3 days apart. Dr. Thomas O'Brien, her father, at 95, died on Monday, and his mother, Ruth, died on Thursday at 92 years old. Wow. And they say that happens when you lose your loved one.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
Our prayers go out to the O'Brien family. That's just horrible. Wow. I could just not imagine losing one, then losing both all in a week. It's a little crazy, I have to admit. All right, let's see what else we got here. Barron Barron Trump we're talking about. If you're looking at
Oh, okay.
Chicago Ray, if you follow X or Twitter, Barron Trump gave Trump the idea of going on TikTok when he was running for election and several podcasts as a way of reaching young voters, and it worked. Trump got 34% of the 21 through 29 vote because he went on Joe Rogan and
Wow.
because he went on TikTok
Yeah, I
and
knew
he did
that.
that. So 34%, which is interesting stuff. I know, politics. Are you finally happy, Nick, that it's over, the
Oh God,
election?
yeah. Are you kidding me? I'm tired of the ads.
Yeah,
Seriously.
yeah, the ads. Yeah, good
It's
point
so
on that.
annoying. It's just all
Yeah,
bullshit.
yeah, absolutely. I agree with you 100%. Okay, now we were just talking yesterday on the show with Laura, my co-host, about the United States having the worst, not the worst, but out of top 100, I guess the United States was number 69 in best healthcare. It's amazing that all the other countries, now people did say yesterday when we were watching the show what kind of healthcare it is. Now we know if you've got your health care paid for in Canada and you need brain surgery, you have to go to New York to get it done. So I don't know, but New York, but with the United States being 69th out of a top 100 for best healthcare. And here's a story. Here's a person guy right here. This guy's name was Alex Smith. He died last year at the age of 26 years old because he couldn't afford insulin in America. He made $35,000 a year as a restaurant manager and couldn't afford
Yeah.
$450 a month health insurance with a $7,600 out of pocket deductible. The insulin he needed for diabetes was $1,300 a month. When he turned 26, he was kicked off his mom's insurance. He started rating life insurance insulin. He died a month later. And this is all in the richest country in the world.
That's the pharmaceutical companies. Just they don't care.
This
I
pharma
mean,
is just horrible what they're doing here. And yeah, I know John F. Kennedy Jr. whatever, Robert Kennedy. I mean, trying to be put in charge. President-elect Donald Trump wants to put him in charge of health. And some of the things that they have on X, or if you follow that format, formerly Twitter, of some of the stuff he's trying to take the certain sugar out of the Diet Coke, so you at fast food places, so the Coke won't be as bad for you. Trying to get rid of, because
yeah,
also they said, Nick, that a meal at a federal prison is more
yeah, I know.
nourishment than
Then they
they
can't.
do the stuff in school for kids. And I guess he's trying to make that better as well, where the kids eat at school, where the food would be a little bit healthier. Because you're right. Look at all these other countries. I mean, I don't know. They put so much garbage in our food. I hope it changes.
Well, I mean, they always find out years later that something's bad. Remember saccharin? Saccharin was in
Yeah,
everything. I
yeah,
mean, he used to get
yeah,
drops. That stuff
yeah.
was
Right, right,
ridiculous.
right. What's the thing in Chinese food? No MSG and no seed oil.
Yeah.
A lot of stuff that when you see that stuff, you shouldn't buy it. Here's something interesting, Nick. Tell me what you think. And I know your kids are grown up and they're older than the age of 14. But if you're going to be in Florida, for all you Florida people out there, Florida wants to prohibit children under 14 from using social media. This is supposed to start January 1st. The age of the 14, 15 can only have accounts with parent approval. Social media platforms will require determined accounts for users under 14, 15. Do you agree with that?
Well, here's the problem. Kids nowadays are so tech savvy. All the 13-year-olds are going to find a workaround. Trust me, it's going to be useless.
It's going to be like
I
it's going to be like getting a fake ID and going out and buy booze
Yeah,
or
it's
cigarettes
basically on a more modern level. But
on a
I
more modern
in the
level. Yeah,
on the one respect, yeah, I kind of agree with it because I think kids are too consumed by social media, and I think there wasn't a lot of school shootings before social media became so big, and kids got bullied
yeah,
on the internet and everywhere else. And I
yeah,
think that's just got a lot to do with everything. I
yeah.
don't think they're
I
mature
agree
enough
with
to
you.
deal with it.
Yeah, I mean, if you can keep them out of it, like you said, there'll be a way of somebody, because the kids are so much smarter than we ever were. Even the
Yes,
dumbest kid right now in
absolutely.
school, or the slowest kid in school, is smarter than we are. in our time. I mean, it's like Helen Tenuta, big farmer. That's horrible. Diabetes meds are all-time high. It is horrible. Ronnie B. Elvis is watching. How you doing, him and Deborah? My folks died 2 weeks apart. Threw me for a loop. I mean, that's got to be difficult. Eric Todd, what's up, brother? Eric, who books Septemberfest in Schaumburg as an actor as well. Eric says a neighbor got their pills mixed up with her birth control.
Oh,
now they got the sweetest little children in town. That's a joke. That's a joke. There I am trying to be serious, Eric. That's a Well, we need that every now and then. We need some of that stuff. Nick Sahajas, Saint Nick Sahajas in the house. Nick, of course, you won the Josie Award many times. It's a lovely event. We had fun every time we're there. On the one day of the 24-hour event for that one day. I have a great, we have great times over there. There you go. Boyd, listen, I got to meet this guy. Boyd, he always comes up with the best lines of the day. Here he goes.
What do you say?
He goes, too many things. He just said, too many things being swept under the rug. And it's been happening for years and years and years. Kim Peterson LeFew from In Session is watching. Kim, my friend, how are you doing? So, Josie Awards is a big thing, kind of cool. I have a great job. Speaking of songwriting, you have any new songs? Were you working on something? I know a lot of people might not know. They might know. They might not know. You had a band back in the 70s called Ruffian and Stagger. Also worked with the great legendary recording artist, singer, the great Paul Anka. Had some major record deal at one particular time. There's a lot of that stuff. Is that stuff unreleased? Are you going to do something maybe in 2025? What do you do?
A lot of I just released a CD. Well, CD. I don't even know if anybody knows what a CD is anymore.
Yes.
I just released about 29 songs that were from the past, mostly because I just wanted a clean house of all the stuff that I had, so that I can then start pursuing with a clear head all the new stuff that I've got. So yes, I've got probably another 2 albums worth of material. I just have to get my butt in gear and start recording. And now that January's around the corner, I'm probably going to hunker down for the winter and do just that. And hopefully by spring, I'll have at least one ready. Not one song, one CD.
Most of the stuff you write about is about personal stuff that happens to you, or stuff you read about, or stuff like that. Or how does a song come to you? Do you get the music first or the lyrics?
Usually the music, and then I just start humming over it and come up with some lyrics.
Right.
Or else I'll say I want to write a song about this, and then I'll start writing it because I'll think of the lyrics.
Right. Yeah, that makes sense. So we're looking forward to getting some new stuff for you, man. That would be great. And I know I was at your CD release party, which was fantastic at the Arcada Theater. And you had the great band behind you. Very, very cool, man. Your wife Phyllis not only is watching, but she wrote in regarding school media for 14-year-olds. I think that's a good idea. There is so much bullying and body slamming on it. They get too caught up with it. I know firsthand with a cousin whose daughter was so traumatized with stuff that kids took it too far. Yeah. I mean, before when they bullied you in school, they did it right in front of you at least. Now these people have now they just get on ahead and they just give you all this shit on a text, and they can just verbally just destroy. I mean, I would hate to be a kid in this day and age. Your kids, how old are both? Nick, how old are both your kids?
34 and 39.
Okay. So, and I mean, everybody, I think, in one particular time in life or in school had to be bullied in some way. And somehow, me, I wasn't that good in school, and if I thank God for choir, I don't know, I never probably would have graduated, and some help with my dad in an envelope. But besides that, it's got to be tough when you see it's got to be tough growing up as a kid these days.
Oh, I agree. I mean, when I was younger, I was always, smaller. So, but I never got picked on for a couple of reasons. I was always playing in bands.
Yeah.
And people want to hang out with the musicians, That made up for the fact that you weren't a football player, you weren't this. Yeah.
Yeah. Once I got in my band at 16 years old, then people kind of started playing. And when you do the first show at the high school gym or
Yep.
something in front of all your peers, it's a
Gymnasiatorium.
whole different story when people look at you the next day. It's amazing.
Yep.
It's
Yep.
amazing what music is. And I think that's like when all these people grew up watching the Beatles back in the time, and this is what they want to be. This is what I want to do. And, it makes a lot of sense. And speaking of the Beatles, I mean, can they make up anything more, Nick? Yeah, I've just seen them. And with the new music, do you ever think there'll be another Beatles? Not in that form, but I mean to be as popular and to last as long. I know right now Taylor Swift is huge. Will she still be 30 years from now? Will they still be playing her on the top like they do Beatles on commercials and movies? Or do you think it's just a fad? I don't know if this will ever happen again. This type of popularity with a group, maybe. I mean, Taylor was by herself; she's a woman, but I'm talking about as a group, singers, songwriters, and stuff like that. What do you think?
No, I mean, think about all the bands that were huge. New Kids on the Block, One Direction, and I don't see 50 years from now anybody celebrating or releasing. Hey, we just found this recording. Let's release it. I don't
Yeah,
see something like that happening. I mean, there was too much that happened with the Beatles, including timing. Timing was everything. World War England was still, recovering from World War II. They were brutally battered by the Germans, and America was grieving the loss of John F. Kennedy. So
yeah,
they wanted something to be happy about. And the Beatles just fell into that, and then they progressed from the Mop Tops to
yeah.
serious songwriters
Well,
and did some things.
right. And what made them, there you go. Thank you, Boyd. The Beatles and Stones were different animals. And there was a difference, you have to admit, compared to most of those bands from the British invasion. We knew the Hollies wrote their own stuff. That's why they lasted. We know the
Yeah.
Kinks wrote their own stuff. That's why they lasted. We know the Beatles. We know the Stones. They lasted because they wrote their own stuff. The Who wrote their own stuff. Led Zeppelin wrote their own stuff. There was bands that were good with the one-hit wonders and just faded out into once the British invasion, early 70s, they kind of just fizzled out. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I don't think there'll ever be another Beatles, or even though the Stones are, I mean, look at them. They're still there. They're doing their stuff.
I love the Stones.
I love the Stones too, man. I mean, you got to give them credit for what they're doing, and they do a great job at it. You're watching Ocean's Pit, little show about big things, folks. Nick Sahajas is with us. Now, I've been hearing so much. Top doctors. This is what you're hearing now. Now, this was facts checked by People's Voice Community on September 21st, 2024. Top doctors were told to deliberately kill millions of COVID patients using ventilators.
Where'd this come
Millions of
from?
patients hospitalized for COVID-19 were deliberately murdered in the best of the government by being hooked up to ventilators, which being denied life-saving medication. Here's something here, and you heard all these stories afterwards. Obviously, when it first hit this pandemic, nobody knew what was going on. Nobody knew whether they did or not. We don't know. Did it come from China purposely because of the election? Did it come here to stop the United States? I don't know. We'll never know. There's some secrets that we'll never know. And now all this stuff is coming out little by little. But you notice none of this stuff is coming out on the main media. You really got to wonder about some of this stuff, Nick, with the shots and this and that. People dying a lot more. I don't know. What's your whole take on it without getting too crazy?
I've heard so many different sides of this. All I know is ever since COVID, I've had issues, and I got the shots. So who knows? I think it was probably a good idea for a lot of people to get the shots because it may have lessened the effect. It didn't mean you didn't get it. It just meant you didn't die from it. I want to believe that because I'm one of the guys who got the shots, and I don't want to think I was stupid.
Right,
But
right.
I don't know. I don't trust anybody anymore. I don't trust any government. I trust nobody.
I mean,
I'm just going to live in my house.
Yeah, I agree with you 100%. Now, we know President-elect Trump will about 30 days or 29 days till he becomes president of the United States. A lot
Right.
of people either like him or they hate him. Um, I think, like I said, it's time for everybody just to come together and let's see what he does. Even, let's put it this way, guys. Even if he does 10%, uh, if he enhances stuff 10% better than what we've had in the last 4 years, he'll accomplish his duty. Obviously,
Yeah.
he wants to get the hostages. He told Hamas release the hostages by January 20th. Suppose he's going to release the Epstein P. Diddy list. I don't know if I even want to see that list. I mean, I do on
No.
one point, but do you imagine? I think me and Laura talked about this yesterday. Do you imagine if they released that date, the musicians and actors and sports people, whatever that we've idolized and watched our whole life, it would shock me to find guys that here were screwing around with the sex trafficking or pedophiling and all this other crazy shit, whatever supposedly is on these lists. I don't think we'll ever see the list. Just like we
What
never
about
find out who killed Kennedy.
what about Epstein's list? Whatever happened to that one?
Well, there you go. There you go.
These people are too powerful. They're too powerful.
They are, but something needs to change, and I think we're in for a good thing. To 2025, I think it's going to be good. We need it, and I think it's going to help. Kathy Delaney, I'm talking to Kathy. How you doing, my dear friend? I hope you're well. Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays. There's Marty Malarkey, McCormick Place man in the house. We got St. Nicholas the Hodges from Chicago Piano Man on, and Chicago Hitman, singer-songwriter. And let's get to another quick sponsor. How about my good buddy, Jack Vena Landscaping. And folks, you know what? Take advantage of landscaping now, folks, just because it's wintertime. You still need a great company like Jack Vena Landscaping. They offer monthly maintenance programs, bush trimming, spring, fall cleanup, bed mulch, and fertilizer, weed control. They offer plant design service, installation, gutter cleanup, servicing the North Shore for 44 years. That's Tommy at 847-432-5266. That's Jack Vena Landscaping. You're watching Ocean's Pit, little show about big things. For Friday, December 20th, 5 days till Christmas. Oh boy, Frankie Seta, how you doing, my friend? Another singer. Danny Mazzi's in the house. How about Kenny? Ken Madoff, another great musician in Chicago, is watching, and our good friend Danny Mazzi from Armando Supermarkets, folks. Buy local, shop local, 925 Liberty Street in Elgin, Illinois. Armando's and Mike and Gigi Crash Champions Collision Auto Repair. For all your collision auto repair needs, go to crashchampions.com. Nick, do you remember the year that you stopped believing in Santa, when you found out Santa was not real and it was your mom and your dad?
I don't officially remember being told or figuring it out or anything like that. And I had an older brother and sister, but I don't remember anybody actually telling me. I mean, are you saying there is no Santa Claus?
I think he's out there. I don't know if it's just one guy with a beard, but you know me, I'm a conspiracy theorist. I still believe Bigfoot's out there. I think they're all out there. So I believe he's out there. I don't know if, like I said, it's just one guy with one set of reindeers. I don't know if that's the case, but I want to believe that this guy. I want to believe that this guy is coming to our home and giving us the love, and that's just what makes it. That's what makes us kids. I don't want to lose the part of being a kid, and I think that's why when you believe in Santa and you believe in the spirit as a kid. All right, 7 psychology facts about quiet people. Are you ready, Nick? About
Yes.
quiet people. 7. Once they get comfortable with you, they can be wild, crazy, and fun. Number 7. Number 6, they are very loyal in most relationships.
Believe that.
6. Number 5, they keep their feelings and pains inside because they think nobody cares.
Probably.
Could be, because a lot of people don't give a shit these days. You're right.
No, they don't.
Number 4, they're shy and may struggle to maintain eye contact. That could be important
Okay.
too. Or
Yep.
you could look at it that as they're shy or they're real just snakes. When someone doesn't look you in the eye when he shakes your hand, man or a woman, stay away. Number three, they often have cuter. Wait, they often have the cutest smiles. Okay, I did not know
Okay.
that.
That's a
Number
weird
two,
one.
they typically have 1 to 3 close friends. And number one, quiet people actually talk a lot around those they're close with.
I believe that.
I believe it. I think George
Yep.
Harrison was not the quiet one,
No,
even though they said he
absolutely
was
not.
quiet. Yeah, you got. You're gonna do something about Stagger and Ruffian. Are you? What do you got? Anything you're planning with that besides new music? Maybe getting the band together, do a show, something like that. What's your next thing?
Well, there's a couple things I wanted to do. One is I wanted to put together an original band because, back in the day, you started out playing clubs and you played, copy music and things like that. But your ultimate goal back then was to start writing your own music and take the next steps. Of course, we were in our 20s at the time, but you
Yeah.
wanted to become one of those people that other people learned your songs. So
Yeah.
I would like to do original music again because I miss doing it. I miss playing it out. I miss getting crowd feedback and seeing what people think of the songs. The other thing I wanted to do is probably start some kind of a podcast or something. I don't know. I have to talk to somebody tech savvy because I don't know this stuff. I'll talk to my son. Maybe a regular podcast, Instagram thing. Who knows? But I want to start going over the history. Stagger started in 1974. We were together for 10 years. And
Wow.
through that time, we met a lot of people that helped us out. We signed
Well, you know what?
management deal.
That's one thing I wanted to ask you real fast. Can you tell us real fast while I get this thing on the other side? Can you just tell these wonderful people how you met Paul Anka and tell them the quick story about the Paul Anka thing and the record deal real fast? Because I love the story. I love it. So please tell me. Give me 2 seconds. Go ahead. Tell me.
All right. Well, okay. So here's the story. I feel like I'm alone. Welcome to my show. We were together for 10 years. Somewhere around 1980, 81, we signed a deal with Joe Crispino, who became our manager, who had just finished managing Tantrum. So after Joe was with us for a while, he got A&M Records involved. He got Columbia Records involved. We were auditioning for these people. They were very interested in us. But while we were hemming and hawing trying to figure that out, he came back to us and said, don't worry about Columbia. Don't worry about A&M. Paul Anka is interested in signing you guys to a record contract. So what we did was we wound up meeting with his engineer or producer who was going to produce our album. He came to Chicago. It happened to be the weekend of St. Patrick's Day. So we took him down into the city on St. Patrick's Day, and he had the time of his life. We were just walking around the city, and it was like basically being with a bunch of friends. We knew everybody down there. We're walking to different bars and things like that. He went back to Paul and said, these guys are great guys. They're normal. They're not gonna, they're not drug addicts. They're not this, they're not that. So they said, sure, great. Flew us out to his house in Carmel, where we spent 2 months or 3 months. I don't even remember, it's so long ago, recording our album in his house, in his home studio. So we would spend a lot of time with him and his 5 daughters. And through that time, we would be recording our album. We then went to Sound City and Van Nuys to finish it there. And we went through all these things. He introduced us to Norman Seeff, who was the photographer of the Stars. He did Van Halen's album cover, he did Fleetwood Mac's album cover, and he did our photo shoot. So we were getting the royal treatment. We're flying on his Lear jet. We're going here, we're going there, we're going to Vegas to get our haircut.
Now, how old were you again?
I was 27.
Now, what's that feeling when you guys are all sitting there going, inside your head, you're thinking, man, this could be it. I mean, right?
Oh, absolutely.
I mean, this could be it.
Yeah. Yeah, he used to do things like he said that they would be doing market research to find out how difficult the band name Ruffian was for Japanese people, because Japanese market was so huge for American Ruffian. It was a huge market for American rock and roll. So things I would never think of. And like I said, he flew us to Vegas for the weekend, had his barber cut our hair before the photo shoot. He set us up with some, people that went shopping with us and helped us pick out the clothes to wear and this and that. I mean, it was just
Okay.
stuff I had never dealt with in my life.
Yeah.
We'd go to the Hog's Breath Inn, which was Clint Eastwood's bar in Carmel, with Paul
Okay.
Anka, hang out, have a few cocktails. It was a different world. I mean, maybe because we were 27, we didn't appreciate as much what we were doing, but we still knew the gravity of everything that was happening. Anyhow, so after doing all that, and by the way, yes, we had some guest people. I actually got to work with David Foster. I sat next to David Foster. I had a keyboard. He had a keyboard. We were putting down some overdub parts on our songs, and it was like, damn, this is very cool. Patrick Simmons from the Doobie Brothers used to come to the studio all the time and hang out with us, because at the time the Doobie Brothers wasn't together; they weren't playing, and he loved the whole band dynamic. So he used to hang out. He did a solo on one of our songs. Anyhow, it was all done. We all came home, and for the next 6 months to a year, Joe was reaching out to Paul and saying, when are we going to release this album? When are we going to release the album? Paul said, I'm still shopping for distribution. Still stopping for distribution. Eventually, it just faded away. Nothing ever happened with it, which
didn't Paul Anka have
kind of shitty.
Did he have his own, Nikki, did Paul Anka have his own record label at the time?
He didn't have his own. He had his own publishing company. I don't think he had his own label. He was just trying to find he kept saying he wanted to find a distribution deal, somebody that would be able to handle, distribution for us. And nothing ever came from that.
But
so here we are.
You got the experience, Nick. A lot of people never get that. I mean, what was Paul Anka like? Was he cool, or was he, your opinion?
He was cool. I mean, he was cool to hang out with. What happened at the end wasn't cool, but hanging out with him at the time, it was very cool. We'd be sitting there playing pool with him, and Frank would be getting ready to shoot a shot, and Frank was the kind of guy that would always just sing a quote from a song. Like he'd go, you knew his shot was going to end the game, and he'd go, "Good night, Eileen," or something like that. And Paul would go, "Yeah, I think I was 18 when I wrote that song." You're like, and you forget, oh my God, I'm with the guy that wrote all these songs.
Yeah,
so you just, and I remember watching the Grammy Awards with his daughters, and Cyndi Lauper came up to accept the award. She made some kind of a joke about having my baby, so it was just funny as hell. It was kind of bizarre world for a while.
It's got to be crazy, yeah. Jack Ramundi and Michelle, whoever one of you are watching, how you doing? My good friend, could be Jack and Michelle's daughter Ange will be marrying our son Tony in January, so it's great to see you guys. Hope everything's okay. Regina Karma's watching. We got Nick Sahajas, the piano man, folks. It is Ocean's Pit, little show about big things. Paul Anka, boy, so many great songs that he wrote. I mean, if you just took My Way, just My Way, forget it, put your head on my shoulders, My Way, Times of Our Life for Kodak, Having My Baby, what a wonderful. I mean, he had She's a Lady for Tom Jones, Let Me Try Again for Sinatra, and so many other great songs,
Don't forget the Tonight Show theme.
Oh, big one. That's something that I don't realize. That was played twice
through college.
Twice the time. Right, Nikki? It was played twice a night for how many years?
Yep.
For a lot of years.
It put his daughters through college, he told me.
Absolutely. Okay, now we did mention this yesterday, and I'm going to mention it again because we were talking about people putting shit in people's foods and stuff. Our government and scientists say you lose 12 minutes of your life every time you drink a Coke or a Diet Coke because of all the sugar impact. I wouldn't doubt it. Especially that stuff, horrible. All this recall that's been happening now everywhere. Everywhere you look, there's always a recall of something. Meats, Costco. Here we go. Costco just recalled 259 million Kirkland brand eggs were recalled from Costco because of contamination. I mean, it's been happening to breads. It's been happening everything. Here, the more sugar you eat, the more depressed you will be. Analyzing data from 180,000 UK participants, researchers, categories, and they found this out. I mean, 31% risk of depression the more sugar you eat. No additive, no pop, no wine or water. Only that's what my dad used to say. There you go. I agree with you guys 100%. And here you go. There's another question we said. Do you support Robert Kennedy Jr. for removing high fructose corn syrup from baby formula and the Diet Cokes and all that stuff? You need to pull all that shit out. And they're going to fight him on all this because that's where the money is. What do you think on this, Nick?
No, you know, we all grew up with a lot of crap, but I think back when we were kids, the stuff was a little more pure, to be honest with you. We drank through garden hoses. We weren't paranoid about everything else. None of that stuff mattered. But I mean, you know, your mom and dad, you would have dinner with the family. It wasn't always fast food. Fast food was a treat that came once in a great while. My
Especially by us.
My dad worked for Coca-Cola for 40 years. For us to have a Coke was a treat. You know, my parents were very careful. It's like, nope, you have milk, you have this, you have whatever. The Coke was a treat. We didn't have Coke every day. So it was a different, you know.
It's a different world that we're living in right now. These kids have no clue. And I don't know why it seems like we're in the greatest country in the world. And it seems like they just want to keep killing everybody. But if you want to move to a country and you want to make, you want to get paid $30,000, here it is, folks. There's an Italian town in Italy, believe it or not, that will pay you over $30,000 to move there if you're younger than 40 years old. The charming Italian Acqualeta, located on the southern part of Puglia region. Well, it's literally the Italian boot is offering $32,500 to move there if you're under the age of 40. Nick, I know you got Greek background, of course, being Greek. Would you ever think of moving to Greece?
I'd probably move to Italy first, to be honest with you. When I went to Italy with Phyllis, it was like my favorite trip of all time. I loved it. Absolutely loved it.
I agree.
My favorite city was probably Assisi.
Assisi, very beautiful.
Yeah, St. Francis.
There you go. See, that would be great. I don't know if I could ever move back to Italy. I liked Italy. I was there. Most of my family's there. All my cousins, my nieces, my uncles, they're all there. I don't know if I'd move there, but yeah. And we're almost running out of time here, Nick, but we're going to talk about a topic that I know you're very, you love, the Chicago Bears. And I don't know, the Bears aren't that far away. And here's just some things. A new owner, new president, new GM, new coach, new stadium, at least 3 offensive linemen, new OC, new DC. Caleb Williams gets better. Lions fall off. Vikings fall off. Packers change divisions.
That should do it.
So I blame it all on the owners. Do you blame it all on the owners?
It's weird because they're spending money. It's not like they're cheap. They're spending money. They're just spending it.
They're not spending any money on a coach.
No, God, no. I've heard the latest I heard was Dick Vrabel. Maybe. I don't know. That's a possibility.
Well, okay.
I don't know if that's the best idea. I'd like to see Ditka come out of retirement.
Oh, well, I think when it is, the problem is when you're going after these big guys like John Gruden, if you went after him, or John Belichick, when now he's with college team. But if you don't give the coach complete control, they're not going to come to this Chicago. They're not going to come if you don't give them complete control. You know, and
you know the other problem is I've been to minicamp the last couple of years. Last 2 or 3 years I've been to minicamp. It's like a freaking party for these guys. There's nothing. They're not pushing them. There's no conditioning. There's nothing. They're just out there bopping around like you used to when you were in high school gym class. It's like nobody puts any serious thought into this. You don't see guys throwing up on the field. That's what you got to see. You want to see if you're going up on the field from 2-a-days in 90-degree heat. That's what you want to see. It's
absolutely
too easy for them.
When we did Shop for the Cop in Champaign, when we opened for Candace Owens this past 2 weeks ago, and Jim McMahon was there, and we asked him, he goes, the exact word he said was the NFL these days are, and I use the word pussy. That's exactly what he said. They're pussies. And he said in 10 years, he believes that the football quarterback, you'll be grabbing the red flag or the flag football.
That's just sad.
What you mentioned too, the Bears when they won that Super Bowl, all the stuff that defensive guys did then is illegal now, right?
Every play would have been a flag with the Bears defense back then. These guys were launching them through the air, knocking guys out. It just didn't care.
Yeah, you know what? It's crazy. So we'll have to see what happens on that. A country run by banks will always be in debt. Healthcare run by big pharma will never cure diseases. Do
Yep.
you guys realize that Pfizer's been in business 175 years, has never cured one disease? Pfizer, 175 years, they've never cured one disease.
They just
So
treat them.
they just treat them. A state run by war will never know peace, and a nation run by media will never know the truth. I mean, these are top 4 or 5 things that are just really important, and it's out there, folks. It really is. We are coming to the end of the hour. Nick Sahajas, the piano man. Nick, where are tonight? You'll be at Taverna on Division in Melrose
Yep.
Park. And they want to book the piano man, Chicago Hitman, et cetera, et cetera. Where do they go?
You can go to my website, chicagosownpianoman.com.
See how
Simple
simple
enough.
that is?
It's
It's
simple.
December 20th, folks. It's birthdays. Are you ready for some birthdays here? I love, and people say, Tony, why do you mention all these old guys, old timers? Because these are the guys I grew up with and I love. Okay, first of all, John Paul Jones, bass player for Led Zeppelin, 78 years old. Don Johnson, Miami Vice, 75. My good friend Ronnie DeMel from the Hyatt. Happy birthday up to your mother up in heaven, Ronnie. She was a great lady. Dennis Franz, another great actor, 80 years old. And here's one for you, 254 years old today. Ludwig von Beethoven celebrates a birthday, 254 years old. Kate Jackson, 76, Charlie's Angels. Tim Conway, one of the funniest men ever, celebrating. Sid Justice, Sid Vicious, Psycho Sid, for all you wrestling fans out there celebrating a birthday. Billy Gibbons, from ZZ Top, 75. Paul Simon and Garfunkel, 83 years old. Rick Derringer, rock and roll hoochie coo, 77. Daryl Hall, great songwriters, 77 years old. You gotta love it. Dino Sisto from Zaza's in St. Charles celebrating a birthday, folks. My good friend Carmela from Trico Hair Experts that does all my hair. Fuck Carmela and Anthony, we love you. Derek Longmuir, one of my favorite drummers from the Bay City Rollers, celebrating a birthday. Brad Pitt is 60. Stone Cold, Steve Austin celebrator. Steven Spielberg, 77. Ray Liotta, and Jim Bonifanti from the Raspberries. My friend Star, happy birthday, my dear friend. And Jackie, my good friend Jackie from Ace Hardware, celebrating a birthday. Guys, you know, tonight we'll be at Chicago Prime Steakhouse. Tomorrow, Taverna on Division. My birthday, the day after Christmas, we will be at Bellagio on the 26th of Roselle on Lake Street with the Main Event Band. And then the 27th starts the birthday weekend at Prime. But the big one is going to be at Chicago at Ron Onesti's Club Arcata Speakeasy on the 28th of December, turning 62 years old. I'm excited. It's going to be fun. I'm having my family there and a lot of other friends. It'll be a lot of fun. And for New Year's Eve, we will be at Moretti's in Elgin with Ocean's Rat Pack, starting it off, and then Tony Ocean and the Main Event Band kicking it off with the dance night. So good. Where are you guys, Nick? Where are you guys at for New Year's Eve?
We are at the Parlor Speakeasy at Primo Italian Cuisine in Gurnee. Downstairs.
There you go. All right. Reached out to Nicole a few times. Just don't get any response, but tell her I said hello. Anyway, Monday, we're back on the show at 12 o'clock, and my guest will be Vince Amore singing his brand new Christmas song for Right to Kick In for Christmas. And then, of course, I'll see my buddy Nick this Sunday. We're going to go see the great Billy J. Kramer of the Dakotas, of course. And I asked him, how did Dakota's name come up? He goes, I had no clue. They were a regular group. I just joined them. So he had no clue where the name came. Anyway, guys, I want to thank also, you still got time to get some of those Mama D's breads that Natalie's been working, folks. Got 20 different flavors. You know, we got New Year's Eve coming up too. You might want to buy some of that too, but got to try all the great flavors they got. Gluten-free. You can contact Natalie Bosch, my sister, at BOSCH or private messenger at 847-523-0400. Bread start at $10 and additional filling, it costs more, but they have mini breads available. You won't be disappointed with Mama D's breads. Again, my wife Laura went in today for tests, angiogram. to put a camera up in her heart to see if there was any blockage. There is no blockage, so that's great news. She's still at the hospital, but she will be coming home soon. So God bless for that. Guys, before we go, let's not forget Ace is the place. Buy local, shop local, supporting local establishments. Our good friends Ace. Norwich, Des Plaines, Evergreen Park, Warrenville, and Mesa, Arizona. Download the Ace Rewards app. Easy way to keep track of points, coupons, and special offers. Ace is the place, helping neighbors before they were neighborhoods. Guys, have an incredible weekend. Go out and enjoy the snow, get your shopping done, do what you got to do. And Nick, remember a couple things. Buy local, shop local, support local establishments, support live entertainment. And what John Lennon said, we need to come together right now. Even though you might not like the direction of the new President Trump will take us in 2025, we need to come together, give this guy a shot to see what he can do to make things better. It's important. Guys, we want to wish you all a Merry Christmas, a Happy Holidays. We'll be back Monday, 12 o'clock, same time. It'll be the only show left for that week because we'll be off on Christmas Eve and Christmas Day. But Great Wingro Star says peace and love. Peace and love. Nick Sahajas, thank you, my friend. And Phyllis, thank you, guys.
Thank you, bud.
Great people. Look forward to seeing you on Sunday. Merry Christmas, everybody. Nikki, while you're here, take us out. Bye-bye, everybody. Bye-bye.
Time to go. It's the end of the show. See you later from Tony.
Bye-bye, everybody. Peace and love. Peace and love. Love and peace. Peace.
Yeah.
Bye-bye. Hey, tell Greg I said hello. Bye-bye, guys. Everybody have a great day.